ladies use these kind of knives at home. She uses like a big knife. You should actually invest in a very good knife, and that it just makes cooking easier, or cutting vegetables or meat very easy. Popularly, most of the women I have come across, they are always afraid to use a big knife. But there's nothing to be afraid of. You can easily get cut with a smaller knife as well as a big knife. Of course, the big knife will cut you deeper, yes, but if you know how to handle it, then it's going to be really easy. So, I'll show you why in a bit. Let me just cut the chicken and get it out of the way. So I'm cutting very thin slices or escalopes. There's a term called escalopes which these boys at the back from PESIHM would know. Do you know what is an escalope?
It's a cut of chicken.
Do you know what is an escalope? No?
It's a cut of chicken.
Escalope is a very thin slice of meat. So escalope can be of a chicken or a lamb or whatever type of meat. So this is like a very thin slice. Can somebody, one of these boys, can you get this pepper out and crack it? Is that where I'm going to cook this? Alright. So thin slices of chicken, breast. And if you can see this, I'm cutting this chicken breast across the grain. So for example, the grain of this chicken, the lines of these on the flesh, they're like this. So I'm cutting them across. So that gives a very good texture to the chicken meat after being cooked. So this chicken has been cut in escalopes, and also mind you that there's this little white stuff which I've kept back. This is the chicken fat. Unfortunately, I would say that chicken does not have a lot of fat, but if there was some more fat on it, I would probably keep it all, because fat is what tends to tenderize the meat. It makes your meat more softer, more juicier. It cooks quickly without the addition of any extra oil or anything like that. So back to the vegetarian side of the chopping board, and we do some chopped coriander leaves. Coriander leaves pack a lot of their flavor in the stems. So you should use the stems, you should not throw away the stems. The flowery part, the leaves, they are very nice to look at, so they could be used for garnish. But the stems are definitely to be used in cooking. You taste it? No, man. Prefers a little more coconut. You've been to China? You've been to China? So do you find chili chicken there? Chicken Manchurian, chili
Szechuan fried
rice. You found it there? No, you're lying. No. It must be an Indian restaurant. It must be an Indian restaurant because popular Chinese food does not have anything called
Szechuan fried rice or
Hakka noodles. I'll show you something like a chili chicken. I actually have it on my menu at restaurant under the name of tequila chicken. I actually use tequila in it and
there's a little bit of white wine also which
put in there. Lots of garlic, lots of fresh green peppercorns. Kerala के जो peppercorns होते हैं, beautiful peppercorns. This is a very simple recipe to make. For this we require a lot of garlic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to marinate this chicken. You have half a lemon left back now.
lemons are best.
No. You have half a lemon. I only use 5 lemons. Half. So instead of the white wine, I'm using a little bit of lemon juice. This whole bunch of garlic which I've chopped here, and then I'm going to use some peppers. Peppers pack a lot of vitamin C in them, so fresh peppers are always good. So what I was telling you earlier on about using a big knife, this is how a big knife helps than a small knife. Boys, you have a small knife with you, right?
Yeah.
Give me that small knife. So this is one of the popular knives which are used by many ladies in their kitchens, and the knives probably go smaller and smaller. And what happens is you try to use this knife and you try to cut this. You're using a chopping board or a platform to cut anything. And if I'm you get 3 colors of peppers chopped up. The red and the yellow capsicums are always sweeter to taste, and the green one is a little sharp. And here we are using these 3 colored peppers only to bring out the value of looks. Food has to look good, as I've always tried to explain on my show. So peppers here. Lovely. 3 colors of peppers. I'm also going to add in mushrooms. How many people here don't like mushrooms? Only 2. See, mushrooms are very good. I don't know why people don't like them. Do you think it's like an animal?
Do you think it's
An animal? So why don't you like it? He likes it, but you don't like what?
the smell?
The smell. Oh my God, that's one of the most amazing flavors you can ever find in your life. Smell of mushroom. Oh my God. I'll just try and change your perception about mushrooms. I'll cook them separately. Oops. Gone. Never mind now. The flavor of mushrooms is so delicate that it seems you should never wash them. Yeah? And I actually never wash them. I use a tissue paper like this to clean them off, to get rid of whatever is excess, you know, whatever black stuff is there. What? Yes, I think it does get cleaned enough. See, mushrooms are in a way organic. The way they grow, yeah. See, this is the one which I got from the supermarket. In my restaurants. Anywhere I use the similar type of mushrooms, and they're never bad. Yeah, mushrooms are bad when they're sticky. When you feel a mushroom and if it's sticky or slimy, that means that mushroom is spoiled. So you should not use it. No, you can. Sticky mushrooms are always dark in color. They never dry on the surface. So regular mushrooms, this is the best way to use mushrooms actually. You know, the world's most expensive mushroom or tuber is what do you call it? Truffles. Not the black one. The alba truffle is actually a white truffle. It is a shapeless tuber oblique mushroom, and it's so amazing that probably a gram of that mushroom is costlier than gold. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to slice these up. Not very thin slices, a little thick slices. Yeah, butter, olive oil. Actually, chop this and put it. Yeah. The best thing to do with mushrooms ever is just a little bit of garlic, black pepper, salt, and that's all a mushroom can take. Anything more you do to a mushroom, like put it in a chettinad masala, dead. All the flavor of mushrooms will be lost because the flavor of mushrooms is extremely delicate, which you will soon find out. Please don't let him run away. Yeah? You as well. So this pan is very exotic. I just got told where are these people from? Europe. Yeah, okay. This is a very good pan which requires a very less amount of oil. And right now I'm going to saute mushrooms. So you might have read about the sauteing process, that heat oil in a pan. That's how it starts. Now I'm going to do exactly not that. So I'm just going to heat the pan and put these mushrooms in there. Okay? Okay? Without oil. I'm going to add oil, but I'll just show you how you can actually cook healthy food, tasty food with less oil. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of pepper. And this is the sequence. I'm not putting in salt right now because salt, all the ladies here who cook very often would know that salt draws out the water content, and water has the flavors of anything which you cook. So this black pepper. If you've noticed, I have not also put salt in the chicken. Salt would go in there last. So a little bit of chopped garlic. Can you smell the flavor of garlic and black pepper? And now, just see the amount of oil which I'm going to use for this mushrooms. Just a pinch of salt.
I would have loved to use sea salt out here. The sea salt carries again a lot of flavor, but unfortunately there's no
So iodine in there. So
you see this,
there's not a drop of water which is coming out. The water inside the mushroom is getting
sealed up, and what you're going to get in the end is a very flavorful
product.
What I've done here with the mushrooms, you can very easily do with any and all other vegetables. And this is the process in which we are going to even cook the chicken. Chopped up or cut up all the vegetables in small pieces. When the
Chicken is thin enough so that it becomes a little easier for you to cook it very well. So this is done. I've switched off this unit, and please, mushroom haters, can we have some spoons, please? Spoons. Nothing is going to go wrong with you. If you're not allergic to it, are you allergic to it? No, please. Trust me. That's nice. Don't look at it. It's just like a piece of chicken. You still standing, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Smell you know get right there. It's different. Yes.
They look very frightened when they have to take these pieces of mushrooms and
Yeah.
fry
It's
it.
as if the piece is going to fall. Yes.
नया मशरूम मारो
नया मशरूम है प्लीज हेल्प योरसेल्फ विद दिस क्रीम You know, these type of mushrooms you can toss up and even top off on a salad, for example. So you must be used to having like a Caesar salad with chicken or prawns or whatever. Instead of that, you want to have a vegetarian salad. You make it with mushrooms, topped with mushrooms. From PESIHM, we know. Do you know
what is a escalope?
Do you know what is an escalope? No? Escalope is a very thin slice of meat. So escalope can be of a chicken or a lamb or whatever type of meat. So this is like a very thin slice. Ladies use these kind of knives at home. She uses like a big knife. You should actually invest in a very good knife, and that it just makes cooking easier or cutting vegetables or meat very easy. Popularly, most of the women I have come across, they are always afraid to use a big knife, but there's nothing to be afraid of. You can. Can somebody, one of these boys, can you get this pepper out and crack it? Is that where I'm going to cook this? Alright. So thin slices of chicken, breast. And if you can see this, I'm cutting this chicken breast across the grain. So for example, the grain of this chicken, the lines of these on the flesh, they're like this. So I'm cutting them across. So that gives a very good texture to the chicken meat after being easily get cut with a smaller knife as well as a big knife. Of course, the big knife will cut you deeper, yes, but if you know how to handle it, then it's going to be really easy. So I'll show you why in a bit. Let me just cut the chicken and get it out of the way. So I'm cutting very thin slices or escalopes. There's a term called escalopes which these boys at the back